What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the recording. I hope everyone had an absolutely wonderful day. I've been struggling with my mobile setup, so I apologize, but I'm sure I'll have it figured out by later today or after I do about 700 retakes. But this is probably one of the most hilarious stories that keeps evolving, that keeps me interested because it could be one of the most based movie moves of all time. Like, seriously, perhaps the most based human ever. Now, or they're like a total weirdo, and I don't know what else to say about it because it's just so weird. Like, I've covered this shop teacher in Canada, right? Who apparently looks a lot like Tim Dillon, but with they're going to class, they have these huge, like gigantic prosthetics on the whole time. Kids are taking pictures and saying like, obviously this is weird and not okay. This is clearly some sort of thing they get off on. Putting that in front of kids, it's a whole weird thing, right? But now it's gotten to the point where like there's a fourth D fourth double D dimension chess move going on here, where apparently this person is fed up with like woke ideology and woke stuff going on at the schools, and they're doing this to prove a point. This has been a developing story. So, like, people are saying, so is it guy trolling or are they getting off on it? Jake Shields, Lisa Elizabeth says they're trolling. You know, nobody really knows. But now there's, again, these are like anon posts. But this is a weird thing here. Massive W for, the giant shop teacher. So this is a post, right? It says, the dude is gaming the system, and an on here yesterday was in his class. The teacher was almost fired for, quote, toxic masculinity last year, as well as, quote, not embracing woke culture. He dropped red pills to his class, such as how silly gender neutral bathrooms were, and the school board hates him. Now he's upping the ante to exploit a very clown world the school and society itself created. His long game is most likely to get fired and then sue for discrimination. There's no other explanation, no better way to troll the clown world than to become an over the top caricature of a woman. I mean, we've seen this with, Dylan Mulvaney, for example, and this is a biological man that I believed for a very long time was just trolling and enjoying the um, the notoriety and the fame and clout from it. But the more I see this man, biological man, now having facial femininity surgeries and all this stuff. The funny thing is, if I can have a brief aside here, somebody like Dylan Mulvaney, mark my words, everyone's kind of all over this gentleman now, promoting him, giving him like commercials and stuff like that, awards. The world will move on. It always does. And it's going to move on, and this person, if they are in fact just doing it for clout, they're going to be stuck with this facial reconstruction surgery that they did. And to be honest with you, Dylan Mulvaney has plenty of money. If he wants me to believe that he really is a woman, then get the bottom surgery. It's very easy. That's something that many people simply can't afford. Dylan Mulvaney can. So if Dylan Mulvaney wants me to believe that a biological man is in fact a biological woman, I'm calling you out. Chop it off, bud. Then I'll maybe believe you. But anyway, a Canadian teacher with the prosthetics spectacularly claims, in fact, that they are real. The Canadian high school teacher who goes to work wearing these prosthetics incredibly claimed that they're not fake and denied being the person photographed leaving home without them, but acknowledged that, well, she can't prove it. Come on, New York Post. New York Post. New York Post writing she. This isn't even somebody who identifies as trans, is it? They just wear these ridiculous prosthetics. Quote, my condition is classified as gigantomastia. which can also be referred to as macromastia. He said during a sit down at a cafe in Burlington in Toronto. It's rare, there's no doubt about it. It affects women on a very rare basis. But in my case, I believe, and my doctor thinks, that I have two X chromosomes as well. So that has something to do with it. And hormone sensitivity to estrogen, in fact, caused it. When pressed for proof, Lemieux, who spoke in a soft, high pitched voice with a pronounced Canadian accent, said she'd never actually received a formal diagnosis. You mean he? Lemieux, who also denied being the person who was photographed by the Post last week driving out of her apartment building and walking on the sidewalk a short time later. So it's definitely them, right? Good Lord. That person, who is dressed in men's clothing, did not have a chest, bore a striking resemblance to the teacher who was identified by a neighbor as, in fact, Lemieux. I can't tell you who that is because I don't want to bring anyone else into this. I don't want that person being thrown all over the media, but it wasn't me. It definitely was. This is who I am. This is how I look. You've been talking to people in my building, but what they're telling you is harsh and untrue. I am always going to look the way that I am. Asked if her appearance ever differed from the way she looked at home, the muse said, I guess if I took my wig and makeup off. I mean, this is definitely the same person. Like there's no question about it. But I would still have these. You can't hide them. I mean, they are so obviously fake. What is going on? Maybe he's like, I can't actually blow the grift this early. Like I have to now take it up to the nth degree and claim that they're real when I can just look at them and say they're not real. They are rock solid. They don't move at all. Now, of course, but I would still have Lemieux, who has sparked worldwide controversy since the photos and videos of them went wild shortly after working as a shop teacher at Ontario's Oakville Trafalgar High School in September, or Trafalgar, sorry. The school has been subjected to repeated threats, which with targeted threats made about Lemieux and school officials. Look, I think this is the one of the weirdest stories. It's hilarious for me to cover, but also like super sad, right? Because on one hand, the system is so messed up that this guy straps these giant honkers on every day and has to pretend they're real to perhaps prove a point, and he's in some sort of stalemate with a super woke school board, or this person actually believes that in the morning when they put these things on that they are in fact real and they are in fact a woman. Either scenario is just maximum clown world. Students have also reportedly been threatened with suspensions if they even take a photo, which is ridiculous. Okay, I would say in my most charitable interpretation of this is some dude who like has some sort of fetish for this or gets off on it. Being leered at, being looked at. They want people to look at them. That's why you put these things on. I mean, at the most basic level of this, it's the same reason many women get these gigantic implants. Like, you want to get like a normal size implant thing. I'm not going to say, oh, you just want people to stare at you. If you go out and get these like double E's or whatever, I mean, what else would you do that for? And it's for my confidence. Yeah, you want to blow out your back for confidence? Anyway, I identify as a woman, female, she, her, Lemieux said. My whole life, I've been identifying as a male. I've been looking like a male. When I decided to embrace the other side of me around age 39, that this presented itself. So you didn't have a chest, then you said, I'm a woman now, and then whoa, they appeared? Lemieux said that being intersex can mean different things to different people, but generally, as a male, you're born with XY chromosomes and woman with double X. The famed Cleveland Clinic. Okay, sorry. The same people can have a mixture of those two different sets of chromosomes. I mean, like, sure, it affects people assigned female at birth. Oh my God, you are female at birth or male at birth. You're not assigned female at birth. An old lady just fell on her bike outside. Sorry. It affects, she's okay. It affects people assigned female at birth. Are you joking? Like, literally? I mean, come on. It can happen during puberty, pregnancy, or from taking medication. In some cases, it occurs spontaneously and for no reason. Uh huh. Outraged parents demanded that the Halton School District Board impose a dress code for teachers, which was initially rejected last year due to concerns about, of course, wokeness. I mean, this is what this guy is wearing, like hot pants. Is that what you or spandex? Of course, in January, the school board agreed to develop a policy requiring teachers to maintain, quote, an appropriate and professional appearance. But Wednesday, school board meeting erupted in a raucous public complaints, according to the National Post. Cops were called after several board members left the room, and one woman was reportedly rejected. Julia Mallott, a transgender mom from Kitchener, Ontario, attended the meeting and spoke in favor of a dress code that would allow teachers to express their self-identified genders. I mean, there's your self-identified genders, and then there's whatever this is. I mean, this is just it, I am genuinely fascinated with this story. They went like skydiving with these things on. I mean, it's very clearly the same guy photographed. Do you think this is like fourth dimensional chess? Or I don't even understand. I mean, perhaps it's a reach where they're like, I don't really know any other possible way I could describe or explain this person's behavior. But if it is true that it is perhaps then it is perhaps the greatest troll that has ever existed of all time. Of course, Lauren Southern went on to clarify he should 100% be fired by the school for doing this around kids, but it's a W in highlighting the clown world. But overall, pretty sick to do this around kids. If we lived in a sane world, it never would have happened in the first place. Couldn't agree more. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do make sure you leave a like on it, and there's a red subscribe button down below. I'll greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. I hope I earned that subscription today, and we'll talk to you again real soon.